Chapter 1751 Collusion with Sea Clan. Just as Yang Kai integrated the space force of the own domain into the potential field, Su Yan also integrated the domain of ice and snow into the potential field. She was obviously already initial mastery has learned the mystery of the ice cold, and the domain has reached the mysterious of Shichang. I watched quietly for a while, and found that Su Yan not at all means to regain strength. It should be that practice has reached a critical juncture. Yang Kai did not interfere with her, but sit cross-legged down, stretched out his hand at the void in front of him, drawing lines of spirit. The spiritual thread condensed by Saint Yuan is arranged and combined according to a certain rule, gradually forming a complicated mysterious formation. After looking at it for a while, Yang Kai showed an expression of dissatisfaction on his face, stretched out his hand, brushed away the formation, and portrayed in the void again. This formation, which he learned from Yang Yan just now, is the basis for building the space law formation. Based on this formation, coupled with some special materials, it can be erected for transmission. Space law formation. For formation, Yang Kai has never dabbled in it. But he has an advantage that no one else has, that is, he is proficient in Space Force, so it is not a big problem to study only one space law formation, even more how, and Yang Yan's careful guidance. Time is passing slowly, Yang Kai is completely forgetful, and his expression becomes more and more focused. I don't know how many formations were portrayed. It wasn't until a certain moment that he showed his satisfactory expression. When the spiritual mind moved, he poured his space force into the formation. Buzzing a light sound, amazing rays of light lit up on the formation, and the entire formation spun at a strange speed. A trace of obvious space force fluctuations, ups and downs from the formation. Yang Kai grinned. Sure enough, after mastering Space Force, delving into this corresponding formation has the effect of twice the results for half the effort. If you change to other formations, even if Yang Kai has studied in the system, it will not necessarily it can be complete in a short time. After mastering this foundation, all that remains is to use materials to build the framework of the formation, combine this foundation with the framework, and add more than 2 space law formations connected to each other to achieve the distance on the transfer. Yang Kai lightly exhales. Is this space law formation? Su Yan's voice suddenly came from the side. Yang Kai raises the head and found that she didn't know when the practice was over. She was standing beside the owner quietly, staring at the shiny and rotating formation ahead, and asked softly. N. Yang Kai nodded, stretched out his hand to pull Su Yan into his own arms, and asked softly, how is the practice? Fortunately, I am about to be able to put the potential field practice to the realm of big accomplishment. Su Yan leaned against Yang Kai, and a satisfied expression appeared on his face, aspirates like an orchid. Thanks to the domain stones you gave to junior brother, if you don't have those things, I'm impossible to make such rapid progress. There are many domain stones, you don't need to save them. Yang Kai smiled lightly and relaxed his body and mind. Well, you came to see me this time, what's the matter? No, just haven't seen you for a long time, come and see you. Yang Kai hey smiled. Su Yan gently nodded, raises the head looking at the clouds in the sky. The eyes are slightly narrowed, the soft body arched in Yang Kai's arms, and changed to a more comfortable posture. Yang Kai embraced her without making a sound anymore, raising the head with Su Yan to see the sky. Under the silver-color giant tree, the snow slipped and everything was quiet. At this time, the scene was poetic and picturesque. In the distance, King Ya seems to come to see Su Yan, but before he gets closer, he sees this warm scene, pursed his lips, and quietly turned away. After half a month, on Sorrowless Ocean, Sea Palace headquarters is located, Black Reef Island. Black Reef Island is one of the big islands on the Sorrowless Ocean. Its area is large enough to occupy the top 3. The most rare thing is that the world's spiritual energy of Black Reef Island is very good, so Sea Palace's only headquarters will be set up on this island. As the headquarters is located, it is naturally heavily guarded. On the island, there are martial artists flying back and forth from time to time, patrolling all around. The edge of the island is also controlled by the Sea Palace disciple, and no people are allowed to enter. Yang Kai flew leisurely and landed on Black Reef Island. Immediately, a team of Sea Palace disciple came up, and the first one looked at Yang Kai with a bad expression and shouted, "Who is the newcomer? Come and announce your name." When he arrived at other people's sight, Yang Kai didn't want to be too public. Wei Wei holds the fist saying, "Hi Heaven Sect Master Yang Kai, come to visit old Mr. Shah, fulfill the previous agreement with Shah old Mr., and invite a few more give an announcement." "Hi Heaven Sect Master. Come to see Shah Master Ancestor." This team of martial artists was in an uproar and took the lead. The man at Yang Kai looked up and down even more, as if he wanted to see if he actually lied, and he even released the spiritual mind to scan Yang Kai. I could not detect the depth of Yang Kai's at all. I immediately understood that Yang Kai's powerhouse was beyond his ability to detect. I couldn't help but feel a lot more serious. After a moment of pondering, he said, "You know that Uncle Shah's return. Look, it looks like he really knew Uncle Shah, but it didn't take long for Uncle Shah to return to the Sea Palace. Everything is busy. Can I see him? I have to ask his old man." "It's okay, I'm here. Wait." Yang Kai expression is kind. The leading martial artist was slightly nodded, and instructed other martial artists in the team to entertain Yang Kai. Then, he took out the communication compass and poured spiritual mind into it. After a while, the communication compass in this person's hand fluctuated with the fluctuations of divine soul. The person hurried to investigate. After a short while, he looked at Yang Kai with a strange expression and said, "Wait here for a while, since someone will come to see you." Yang Kai frowned, calmly said, "Okay." He subconsciously felt that this trip might not go too smoothly, and the person who came to see On might not be Shah Hu. After all, with the friendship between On and Shah Hu, if he knew the news, how could he let On wait here? "I'm afraid I have already ordered people to welcome them in warmly. There seems to be some turbulence inside the Sea Palace." Yang Kai looks thoughtful, but other people's affairs have nothing to do with him. He came here just to complete the agreement with Shah Hu, so that the inland and deep sea materials can be exchanged. This is a great opportunity for the future development of High Heaven sect, is of great help. It was exactly as Yang Kai had guessed. After waiting for less than a quarter of an hour, he stood in place and noticed that a group of Void Return stage powerhouses were flying here quickly, but under his influence, not at all Shah Hu among this group of people. After a while, this group of people were printed in Yang Kai's eyes. A martial artist headed by a powerful cultivation level of Void Return 3-layer, is an old man with a dark red face, lightly falling in front of Yang Kai more than 10 meters away. A pair of seemingly muddy eyes looked up and down Yang Kai several times, and then he casually cupped one fist in the other hand. "Dare to ask you, but High Heaven sect master?" "Yes, it is Yang, old Mr. Yes." Yang Kai cupped one fist in the other hand in reply. "Old man Sea Palace 3 Palace Master Chi Yunhai." Old man indifferently said. It turned out to be Chi Palace Master. Yang Kai raised his brows. Although his dealings with Sea Palace are not too many, he also knows that there are 3 Palace Masters in Sea Palace. This Chi Yunhai obviously is one of them. "I heard that Sect Master Yang came here to see me Sea Palace Sand Martial Uncle." "Yes, Yang and Shah Old Mister had an agreement. I don't know Shah Old Mister, he. Martial Uncle has been missing for 300 or so years, and has just returned to Sea Palace. He is exhausted physically and mentally, and is recuperating. I am afraid I cannot see Sect Master Yang anymore." Chi Yunhai expression calmly, "Sect Master Yang is a guest from afar. If you don't dislike it, how about sitting inside?" Although old man has lived in the deep sea for a long time, he has also heard of the names of Sect Master Yang and High Heaven sect for a long time. Master Yang is here for old man to get what he wanted. His words are enthusiastic, but his tone is not lukewarm. Obviously he didn't really want to invite Yang Kai to sit in. Yang Kai looked at Chi Yunhai, faint smiled and said, "This is strange. When I separated from old Shah half a month ago, he was fine, but now he is suddenly exhausted. ? And I have an agreement with him. This sect master is here to fulfill the agreement. I dare to ask the palace master, old Shah can't see me, but old Shah owns." Chi Yunhai's muddy eyes flashed light and did not answer directly. Instead, he said in a compelling tone, "Sect Master Yang, what does this mean?" "Nothing." Yang Kai twitched his lips. The agreement with old Shah is not only of great benefit to my High Heaven sect, but also of you Sea Palace. It's just that you have to refuse the benefits that you have given to your lips. Then this sect master will not accompany you. On Sorrowless Ocean, it is not just your family. Do you dare to collude with Sea Clan?" Chi Yunhai thought for a moment, and the complexion greatly changed. "What is collusion?" Yang Kai sneered, "Major General, this unfathomable mystery hat is buckled on the head of this sect master, goodbye." Yang Kai annoyed. On multicolored Sunlight Island, Pang Zhen sent a message back to Sea Palace headquarters. He waited for a long time, but Sea Palace didn't respond. "That's fine. I didn't expect the owner to come in person today and was blocked. There are 3 nuisances, and there is still a 3 Palace Master, which can already represent the overall wishes of Sea Palace to some extent. Since Sea Palace is unwilling to do this business with High Heaven Sect, Yang Kai does not need to beg them. Collaborate with Sea Clan and still want to leave? Boy, if you don't clear your words, don't want to leave Black Reef Island today. A majestic anger suddenly came from not far away. The voice fell. A figure, the sturdy middle-aged man, has appeared next to Chi Yunhai, looking at Yang Kai with cold eyes. Yang Kai didn't say anything, but there was another shocking roar from inside Black Reef Island. Impudent, Yang Kai is a guest of old man, who dares to be rude? Hearing this voice, Yang Kai grinned, and the unhappiness in his heart dissipated a lot. After all, he did not misread Sha Hu, and immediately came forward to defend after he noticed the arrival of On. However, the current situation is a bit more complicated, Yang Kai thought secretly. He is not going to be nosy, but waits quietly in the stove in place, wanting to hear what Sha Hu said. Over there, Sha Hu flew in an imposing manner. It took only a short time before he fell to Yang Kai, full of anger and fiercely staring at Chi Yunhai and the Magnificent One. Middle-aged person. Chi Yunhai seemed a little afraid to look at Sha Hu and looked away, while the sturdy middle-aged person looked at Sha Hu without flinching.